All right, we are going to be working on the standard MGSE 6.NS.3, and this is operations with decimals. We're going to be focusing on all the operations: adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So let's get started. The first problem we're going to do, the first and second problem are going to be adding and subtracting. So now before we start our adding and subtracting, let's think about our rules. When adding and subtracting decimals, we need to remember to line up decimals. That is our biggest rule that we have to follow when trying to add or subtract decimals. So let's get started. The first problem we have is 108.94 plus 42.8. So first thing I need to do, rewrite this so that my decimals are lined up. So I'm going to write it in beneath it. 108.94 and 42.8. We are adding. Now the places that there are no numbers, like here, I can put a 0 here to hold the place value. So now when I add these two numbers, 4 plus 0, 4, 9 plus 8, 17, bring down the decimal. 8 plus 2, 10 plus 1, 11, 4 plus 1, 5, and bring down the 1. So we have 151.74 is what this equals when added together. So now let's go on to another problem. Number 2. Number 2, we need to subtract decimals. Same rules, line up decimals, same rule. So I am going to subtract the two decimals, 109.28 minus 2.104. So let's start by lining up our decimals. So 109.28 minus 2.104. Once again, there's some places where the decimal, where the number, there's no numbers. So I'm going to put a 0 there to hold my place value. All right. Now 0 minus 4. Can't do that. So I need to borrow. I'm going to borrow from the 8, make that a 7, and make this 0 a 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 0 is 7. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring down the decimal. 9 minus 2, 7. Bring down my 0 and my 1. Leaving me with the answer, 107.176. And so that is our answer for dividing or subtracting, my bad, decimals. Remember to always line up decimals. Most important rule. So now let's continue on. We got 2 more problems. The next type of problem is multiplying. Decimals. So the rule here is to worry about decimal place value at the end of the problem. So let's do it. I have, for my problem, 19.5 times 5.3. These parentheses here, all they mean is that we are multiplying. That's why they're next to each other. So I'm going to rewrite and multiply. 19.5 times 5.3. I do not have to line up my decimals. It just ended up working out that way. So 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 9, 27 plus 1, 28. 3 times 1, 3 plus 2, 4, 5. Put my 0 here because we are now in the second decimal place. So 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 9, 45, 46, 47. 5 times 1, 5, plus 4, get 9. Now I'm just going to add these two products together. 5 plus 0, 5. 8 plus 5, 13. 7 plus 5, 12. Plus 1, 13. 9 plus 1, 10. Now I need to go back and worry about my decimal place value. Now I'm at the end and I need to worry about my decimal place value. So now I count. Okay, there's 1, 2. So now in my problem, there's 1, 2 places. I'm going to go 1, 2. So my answer to this problem is 103.35. Now to our last problem, dividing decimals. Oops. Messed up on the spelling, but that's okay. Dividing decimals. So we have 25.5 divided by 3.4. So I'm going to rewrite this using my long division. 25.5 divided by 3.4. The first thing I want to do is make this a whole number. So I need to move this decimal over. And if I move this one time, I need to move this also one time. So now I'm going to rewrite. I have 255 divided by 34. So now, the question I asked myself, we went from here to here. How many times can 34 go into 20? Into 2. It can't. Put an X here. How many times can 34 go into 25? It can't. Put an X. How many times can 34 go into 255? Well, I'm not sure. So let me go ahead and try some numbers out. Let me try 34 times 7. 7 times 4, 28. 7 times 3, 21. 22, 23. I got 238. That seems like it's big enough to fit. So 34 times 7 is 238. I go ahead and subtract. 5 can't minus 8. Make that a 15, make that a 4. 15 minus 8 is 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, this is where we have to use our decimal. Now, is this number 255, like this, equivalent to 255.0? Are these equivalent? Well, of course. So I'm going to add a decimal point and put a 0 to represent my number. And if I put a decimal point here, I need to also put a decimal point here. And now I'm going to bring down the 0 I've added. And how many times can 34 go into 170? Well, let me try. 34 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3 is 15, 16, 17, 170. So 34 times 5 is 170. Put my 170, subtract, I get 0. So my final answer is 7.5. I hope you understand what I did. If there is anything that you need to be reviewed again, go to the website and watch the video again, and then you'll have the opportunity when you're ready to retake so you can make a better score on long division. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening.